address, don't chase a 낮에 원 옥주홍대 춤춰 죽을 같이 I know your friends 해 불러올래 어서 많은데 it's time.
Let's get into this goofiness right now.
He recently came in town to for us to meet for the first time because he lives in another state and we met online. We're strangers. So he came in town to meet me. He stayed, at a hotel. I stayed home, came home every evening. I have a 16-year-old daughter. And since he's been back home though, the communication has been kind of sketchy. As far as before he came, it was regular communication. He's FaceTiming me all the time. He's texting, all the time. But since he came here, which was a week from today, no, a week, a little over a week since he's been back home, the communication has been less and it's been different. And I actually brought it to his attention, and then he kind of got an attitude, not an attitude, but kind of an attitude. So I'm wondering if I should just be because now we're getting to the point, because we're courting, we're courting to marry. So now it's getting to the point where the next step would be me talking to my brother and introducing him to my brother. But the way he's acting, I'm I don't know.
But see, look at this, y'all. If you've been paying attention to this lady, right? This lady got nails, nose rings, maybe she got tattoos, we don't know. She don't look like your typical female who has a heat bob. Usually you don't see the nails and you don't see the nose ring. You don't see all that. Maybe it's something else that I don't know about. Maybe it's some other kind of religious thing that's going on. But she is trying to get married. She got introduced to a guy who she's been talking to. And that guy came to visit her one time, and now he's trying to ghost her. And maybe he's not really trying to ghost her, but he's got something else going on. And she seems to think he wants to ghost her, but that ain't the problem. I think it's something else.
It sounds like he's not that into you. And I'm assuming you guys didn't do anything, right?
Nothing.
Yeah. So maybe maybe when you guys got together, because you did meet online, you said, right? So maybe when he saw you in person, your vibe, the way you look, not saying you're not attractive, but things are different online versus in person. So maybe the vibe wasn't just there. The chemistry he felt, the attraction wasn't strong enough for him. And it kind of just fizzled
And maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe he's not interested in you sexually, but he sees you as the candidate of being a wife. And maybe that's a good thing. But I don't know no man that wants to be married to a woman and he ain't sexually attracted to her at all. Maybe you just turn him off. Maybe you just ain't the right fit emotionally, sexually, component-wise, conversation-wise. Maybe you're just not the one for him. Because there's no way you was all hot and heavy with this person weeks ago. He meets you and then he turns on the cold faucet. No, something went wrong with the physicality of you all's relationship. That's the only thing it could be.
I don't think I want to continue this.
Let me add this piece. So I kind of thought that, and I also was telling my friend, but another piece that I maybe should have added is that customarily in my culture, a man will pay a dowry, before you marry. So he actually gave me some money before he left, half of what my dowry would have been. So I was telling my girlfriend, I'm like, yeah, girl, he left me some money, but I don't know if he's attracted to me. She's like, well, if he left you some money, he's attracted to you. And I'm like, okay, but
no, he left you some money because he wants to be your husband, but he don't want to be, because he hasn't found a decent enough woman out here in order for him to commit to, and you fulfill all those requirements. Excuse me. You fulfill all those requirements, except he's not sexually attracted to you. And that can happen. You can you can be all the things that a person wants you to be. And then when they really meet you, they get down to touching you, get down to getting in your presence. You don't do nothing for them. There's plenty of human beings on this planet that happens to. The only difference is most of them don't get in relationships because men like to be attracted to the woman that they marry. But he knows you're a good woman otherwise. That's why he gave you the money to get you hooked up, to keep you on the line, to keep you waiting until he decides that he's going to marry you. That's why he gave you the money.
But it doesn't seem like he's in contact as regularly as he used to be.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that's like he gave you the money too to be like, I may date someone else, but let me just keep this in how do you say layaway? Okay, right. You know what I mean? It's on layaway. Let me just give her half, give her a little something, and then I get to decide. I don't know.
I kind of do feel like that because I feel like money is not a thing for him. So it's like I didn't take it that serious because, like, you know, even when he was here, he was spending a ton of money. So I'm like, I don't think the money is that significant to him. You know what I mean?
So if money's not an issue, then maybe he could just have given you the money to say, hey, for your time.
But that's not what the money was for. The money was to keep her hooked up. To keep her hooked up so she wouldn't be looking for another man. That's the whole point of why he gave her the money for the dowry. He gave her the dowry money, half of the dowry money. And since money doesn't mean anything to him, giving her half don't mean jack shit. So thus, he wants her to sit down on the curb and wait for him. That's why he gave her the money. Because ain't no man giving you no money unless he don't have no intention. He's working himself up to be your husband. He may not be attracted to you. It's just a business deal for him. Isn't this one of these arranged things that you people go through? I don't know what type of religion you got. I don't understand what kind of background you got. But he has to make his intentions known, and he made them known by giving you the dowry. That don't mean he really wants you though.
You're a nice girl, but I'm just not that into you. It could be that too.
So do you think I should say something or just like move on?
You already said something.
I did.
Yeah. There's nothing left to say. I wouldn't bring it up anymore. I would wait for him to reach out to you. Has he reached out again?
Yeah, I mean, he just called me like an hour ago, and that's when I had told him like how I was feeling, like, hey, I feel like you're not really as engaged as you were before. And then he started telling me the reasons that he feels why, like, oh, I was really busy at work. And then he said, you know, like he just gave me his excuses, and I was just kind of like,
She don't believe him because they bullshit reasons. Because he didn't know what to say. He didn't expect her to confront him. He didn't expect her to ask him, why ain't you all over me like you were all over me before we met? After they met, he ain't all over her no more because he's not physically attracted to her. He gave her the dowry money to keep her in line so she's a good choice. He knows that she's a good choice. He's just not into her like she would want him to be. But he gave her the money to keep her hooked up, to keep her waiting for him.
You had all that stuff going on 2 weeks ago and you were still calling me all the time. So, and then he kind of got irritated that like I said that.
So I mean, I wouldn't bring it up again. I would just continue, you know, moving about your life. I don't know how many people you can date at once, or if you can look for other options.
Yeah, I can do as many, like, I can court with as many people I want as long as as long as I haven't committed, like as long as I haven't said yes to marriage. But I mean, I feel like in a way, I haven't said yes to marriage, but we are courting. Like we have dates set to get married. We have, so I'm supposed to be flying out to see him where he's at in October. Like plane tickets have been purchased. Like I said, I have a teenage daughter, so I have to make sure like she could be with someone. Like things have been arranged, you know? So for him to be acting like this, I'm kind of like, well, does he feel like now it's kind of like a done deal? Like, okay, boom, we're gonna.
Because you're not acting, because something is not lining up with what he expected. When he came and he saw you, he saw the hijab, he saw the nails, he saw the nose rings, he saw all of these things. And he saw the way she talking and the neck is clanging and the neck is jerking. And he like, she just like any other black American woman. She just got her hijab on, that's all. Does she really follow the tenets and the religious teaching of her religion, or is she just on some other shit? So he gave you the money, but it's something that ain't lining up, and I think it's because you all are more than modern day woman.
Recording, we're supposed to be getting married. I paid her half the dowry. It's like maybe he feels like he doesn't have to put work in anymore or something. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, all right. Maybe if that's what you feel in your gut, then maybe that's what it is. Because you know the situation better than we know it. You know, you're in it. So if that's what you're feeling, like he's doing all of this because he feels like, all right, I got her, I'm gonna marry her, it's all good, I don't have to put much effort in, then
that's it. He don't feel like he need to put any effort into it because he done gave her the money. He came to see her. Now I ain't got to deal with her. Maybe she ain't gonna bother me none whatsoever. When she said to him last week, why you ain't all over me like you was before we met in person, he almost got mad at that. Why would he need to get mad? Why would he need to get embarrassed, upset for her asking that question? He came up with all kinds of excuses as to why he didn't want to be bothered with her. Take the win, girl, and keep walking.
that's what it is. But I also feel like he saw you and maybe the attraction or the chemistry wasn't there. That's what I'm feeling. It just wasn't like, I want to jump your bones. And I hate to say it, men are, sexual visual beings. Not saying you're not attractive. I'm not saying you ain't got the look. I'm not saying that. But it's.
No, I hear you. I hear what you're saying, and I think, and I feel that way to an extent because of like things that he's said. Like even when before he came out here, he asked me how tall I was, and I told him, which I'm like almost 5'7", and he was like, "Oh, I'm 5'11". But then I feel like when we met, like I think he seemed shorter and I seemed taller because I am a tall woman. Like, and I tell people that, like I was like, "Oh, I'm tall," and then he's like, "Oh, 5'6" and 3/4 is not that tall." And I'm like, "No, I'm tall for a woman." Like, and he's like, "No, average women are like 5'5", and I'm like, "No." Whenever I'm in a group of women, I'm like the tallest woman. Like I'm considered tall. So then when we met, I was like, is he really 5'11"? Because he didn't seem like we seemed very close, not very close, but closer in height than someone who's 5'11", right? And I don't wear heels or anything. So I thought that was weird, right? So then he was like, he made a comment the other day and he was like, yeah, when you were wearing heels, when we went to Sculpture Park, we went to like this park, he was like, I felt some type of way. And I was like,
oh yeah, there you go. They got that, and men got that Napoleon complex. They got that bad. They hear that 6 foot thing online and then they get to tripping. She just got to be taller than you. Why y'all take that 6 foot seriously? That's not really the truth. As long as you're taller than the woman that you like, she don't care if you 6 foot or not. But this person right here said he was 5'11", and she figured he may be like 5'8", 5'9", and he was lying about his height, right? Because you knew he couldn't say he was 6 foot. Now she found his ass out and he embarrassed because she's really tall. Now he want to marry her, but he don't want to marry her because she ain't short enough. Y'all messed up. Y'all need to really, really have a conversation before you marry this guy. And he needs to have a conversation with you because he think you too big for him or something to that effect. But then again, we ain't seen no Kendra cam, have we, y'all? She don't do the Kendra cam. Well, I'm sorry. This the Ashley cam. She don't do no Ashley cam, so we can't tell.
And I thought he was joking. Right? And I was like, you did? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, that, okay. I thought that was a strange thing to say,
So
yeah, it's the height.
Maybe it's the height. Maybe it is a height thing.
No, it could just be a attraction thing in general, right? Like height, maybe he doesn't feel like, maybe he feels short. I don't know. I do. I mean, and I always tell guys I'm a tall woman, so like if it's an issue, like
Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah, but she don't look like no little woman. You see the thickness on her arm? She look like she's a big woman with some big hips. See, 5'9" and 150, no, 5'9" and 160 on a man is different from 5'9", 210 on a man. 210 man would look at her and be like, yes, I'm bigger. But a 150, 60 pound, 5'9" man, he's gonna think you're a big woman. And she's not a small woman because look at her shoulders. Look at her arms, right under her armpit. You can tell she's a little hefty, a little overweight. And maybe he said, I ain't attracted to that. Not at all. Ain't nothing wrong with that, bro. She has all the qualities that you want, except she's kind of thick. And you don't like that. And we get it. We do. We get that completely. You're a little shorter. She's a little bigger. And she's a little thick. All of the things that you say hell no to for a wife. But you know she's a good woman.
I can't see it just being a height thing, you know? Because if you're a guy's, you know, if a guy's attracted to you, short, tall, thick, thin, you know, they're attracted to you. It really wouldn't matter. And I don't know if you're dating other people, but it sounds like you're emotionally invested with this guy because you guys spoke a lot on the phone and things like that. And you kind of already made up in your mind. I feel like, okay, this is my person, but he kind of threw in a monkey wrench.
And I mean, I am dating, like talking to other guys. Like I always feel like I'm always talking to somebody, which is, I feel like it's a problem, but it's not a problem, but it's kind of a problem. Which is why I kind of asked him, because it's like, if you're not feeling me, what, you know, and I was like, if you're not feeling me, just say that, because, you know, and he always says comments. Like he always says like, oh, I know you got dudes. I know dudes are reaching out to you. I know dudes are checking for you, you know.
Wait a minute, what kind of religion does she have that her brother ain't checking these men out? That her male family members ain't checking these men out so they're the right people for her? She's the one that's checking them out. And what kind of men are coming to her, talking to her? Where is she from that this is happening? Because she seemed like she way Americanized to me. Long nails, nose rings, probably got piercings, she got piercings in the nose and tattoo. What kind of religion did she got? What's going on? Okay. And I'm like, okay, she's going to be Americanized. This is where she's from.
And I'm like, they are. Like, I'm not going to say they're not, like, we know each other on social media. So like when I post pictures, he'll see like all the comments that so then he's like, if people are, if men are commenting on your pictures, then they're definitely in your DMs. And I'm like, yeah, they are.
So you feel like he's insecure. But if he has enough money and means, as you said he's good financially, I can't see him not being confident. Not saying he won't have insecurities, he's a human, but I can't see him thinking, oh, I can't get her over these little Instagram men in the comments. Because he would look at himself as the Dundada, you know, like, I got the money. She ain't looking left, she ain't looking right.
You can have all the money in the world and have a Napoleon complex. You can have all the money in the world, and when you are confronted by a tall woman, them insecurities are gonna rush right back to the front, especially if you're a short man. Okay? Has nothing to do with confidence. They can have confidence as a man with money. That makes no difference. A sexual confidence is totally different. She makes him insecure some way, somehow. Even though she seems to be a decent woman, she still makes him insecure. And she ain't doing it no better. She on social media entertaining 3, 4, 5 different men.
I don't know. I don't think I've known him for long enough to be able to gauge that. I think that Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's just certain comments that he makes. I do feel like sometimes he can be insecure. Like the other day he said something about his dad bod, and I was like, why do you keep saying that? Because like he'll just randomly say it, and I'll be like, why do you keep talking about that?
So he is insecure. He does have insecurities. And maybe he feels like if he marries you, it would be too many men looking your way. I guess that could be one of the reasons. I'm not sure. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a good fit. It just
Y'all think this is wild that she's practicing this ancient this she's practicing this dowry situation or getting money from this man and he's paying a dowry. Do y'all think it's weird that she should be entertaining other men? I thought once she gave the dowry up, then that would be the man that she would pick. That would be the man that she would go home and talk to her family about. That's what I thought. How's she still on here entertaining men? Which tells me she's an unserious candidate for anybody's wife. All right? That tells me she's an unserious candidate. Because you shouldn't even have this. We shouldn't even be having no discussion about other men. And she's already taking this man's money. See, he's watching how you move. And how you move is just like a typical American woman. You talk like a typical American woman. You move like a typical American woman. And on top of the fact that he ain't attracted to you, that's kind of fucked up.